So you've probably seen my video that explains how to find the passive voice in your essays, titled, I think the title is Introduction to Finding Passive Voice. And you can watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. Now that you have found the passive voice using the tricks that I teach you in that video, you have to, of course, fix them. So let's quickly recreate that search that we had before. So we go into the search window, we do ed space. Oh, and an addendum to the other video, you also then want to go and do a search for ed period, because of course you want to find any verbs at the end of a sentence. The pizza was eaten, right? Well, that's en. So, but the speech was presented, right? The speech was presented. ed period. And so you want to be able to find passive voices at the ends of a sentence and at the ends of sentences, and you want to be able to look for them like right at a comma too. So just do a search for ed space. See, here we go right here, being discussed, right? ed with the form of to be in front of it. Form of to be, being, there it is, right? So if you do a search for ed comma and ed period and ed space, you'll find even more passive voices than you did in the previous video. Okay, so we're just for now going to stick with the ed space that we had done before. Let's grab the first passive voice, is called, right? How do we turn this from passive voice to active voice? Read the sentence first of all to find out what it's talking about. Of these passages, one that stands out due to its relevancy and accuracy in real life is called Domne. Well, the question is, who's calling it that? Random people, the author of the book, right? So we're in a discussion about Roland Barthes' A Lover's Discourse, where Barthes has written blah, blah, blah. So he is probably the one calling this Domne. So make him do that calling. Of these passages, one that stands out due to its relevancy and accuracy in real life, Barthes calls Domne. It's a very down and dirty fix, but now you can hear the sentence. It sounds a bit sloppy, right? One that stands out due to its relevancy and accuracy in real life, Barthes calls. Okay, why don't we maybe move the Barthes calls part out of here? Maybe just put it like right at the beginning. Barthes calls, okay, one that stands out. Why don't we get rid of these passages, one that stands out? Barthes calls one of these passages Domne. Okay. Barthes calls one of these passages Domne, get rid of that period, due to its relevancy and accuracy in real life. Well, we've now created a grammatically active voice sentence. The thing that now stands out is it doesn't really make sense. Why would you call something Domne? Because, like, due to its relevancy and accuracy to real life. So we've kind of lost the meaning of the original sentence. If we go back to that original sentence, of these passages, one that stands out due to its, so it stood out because of its relevancy. Okay, so we have to keep that standing out. I'm going forward again to recreate the sentence I just made. So Barthes calls one of these passages Domne, comma, which stands out due to its relevancy and accuracy in real life. That's pretty close to the same idea the student originally had. Barthes calls one of these passages Domne, which stands out due to its relevance. So yeah, Domne stands out. Why? Because it's relevant and accurate to real life. Not bad. This needs some finessing yet still, but you know, this video isn't designed for me to teach you how to write gorgeous, beautiful prose. this video is just a down and dirty how to get rid of passive voice quickly and turn into active voice. I did that. Now the art of writing can step in and make this sentence more and more beautiful through long meditations on it. If you want an example of how long you can spend on one sentence, I have a video called The 20-Minute Sentence, where I literally spend 20 minutes on one sentence. You can find that on my YouTube page, Hodge Babson. So I did what I wanted to do for the purposes of this video. I turned this from a passive voice into an active voice. To recap, it's active now because the verb calls is being done by something or somebody. The author of the text, Roland Barthes. Barthes calls one of these passages Domne. And of course, it really should be B-A-R-T-H-E-S, not all caps. Okay, if you go back to the original and we look at that, you'll see that calls. So look at this. Of these passages, one that stands out due to its relevancy and accuracy in real life is called, by whom? We don't know, is called Domne. So in this situation, there is no agent, there is no actor, there is no active participant doing that calling. It's just this calling has happened mysteriously by somebody or something, and we don't know what it is. Because we don't know what it is, because there's no agent, there's no active entity performing that verb, grammarians call that passive voice. And again, when we give an agent to that verb, boom, 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 Barthes calls one of these. Now the calling is being done by somebody. It is active. Barthes is actively producing that call. Make sense? If not, we'll do another one. So do another search for the ed space. Here they all are. And we have be subjected. Great. Okay. So let's read the sentence that we find it in to find out who's doing this subjugating. And here's the sentence. As shown here, one who is truly in love not only desires his or her beloved, but instead demands that he or she be subjugated to it. I guess it is the beloved. Let's kind of make this easier for us then. There, that makes it a little clearer, a little cleaner. Okay, but instead demands that he or she be subjugated to that same beloved. First, we have to understand the idea that's trying to be presented here, okay? He or she. Who is this he or she? Well, spoiler alert, it's the one, okay? So one is he or she. Now, you may have to chew on that for a little bit longer. It is going to be your writing that you're working on. You will understand your own ideas, so you might be able to wrap your mind around that pretty quickly when it's your own writing. If you're having trouble with this example here because it's not your writing, then pause the video, read this sentence a couple of times, and you'll see that the he or she is this one that we're talking about. That's why in grammar we often like to keep using one once we start using one. See how much cleaner that would be? So this person who is desiring the beloved also demands to be subjected to that same beloved. So the question here is, who or what is doing that subjugation? And again, the writer's mind will have the best answer for that. I mean, this could be a religious claim that God forces you to be subjugated, right? Well, then just say that God subjugates one to that same beloved. That would work. But I think here what's happening is that perhaps maybe the beloved is forcing the lover to be subjugated. We could try that too. So again, it could be that this beloved, and I don't want that to be read anymore because it does not actually relate to the one, that this beloved subjugate one, boom, but instead demands that this beloved subjugate the lover. And here the lover would be that one again. So we could put that in red if we wanted to. Okay, so basically it doesn't matter who, I mean, again, the author knows ultimately who is doing that subjugation. I'm assuming it's the beloved. I mean, I would have to go back and read Roland Barthes and understand this passage on page 82 in order to like really get it right. But it doesn't matter who's doing it. We could say culture, right? That culture subjugate the lover to his beloved, right? I mean, maybe that's it, since that's what the other person used up above, the true author of this, his or her. Okay, so really anything can go in there, whatever the author wants it to be. It could be God, it could be culture, it could be the beloved. What's key here, though, is that now we have the active agent who is doing that subjugation identified in the text instead of what it was originally. Again, let's go back. Bum, 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 bum. Right? That he or she be subjugated to the same beloved. Well, who's doing that subjugation? We don't know. Once the author tells us who it is, we could rewrite it for the author, or the author can rewrite it for him or herself, and we would get something like maybe culture subjugates the lover to the beloved, or the beloved subjugates the lover, right? That this beloved subjugate the lover. Demands that this beloved subjugate the lover. How you doing? One more maybe? Three's the charm. Boom. Is annoyed. Great. Passive voice. Okay. Barthes explains that he is annoyed with these women. Oh, I am glad we're doing this next one. Okay. This is a really tricky one. Sometimes EDs can be adjectives. He is annoyed. This is kind of, it could be just a description. Like, the door is open, right? That's not a verb, open. I mean, it could be John opens the door every day, but if I walk into a room and I see an open door, well, that's an adjective, open. The door is open. The door is closed. That's also an adjective. It merely describes the door. Now, I could say the door is closed every day by the janitor when he leaves the building. Now that's all presto changeo, that's passive voice all of a sudden. It should be the janitor closes the door every day when he leaves the building. So here, this could just be a description of Bart. Bart is annoyed, right? Bart is a man. Bart is French. Bart is annoyed. It could just be an adjective. And because it's with these women, okay, that actually kind of helps us understand that it probably is just an adjective. Watch this, though. If we turn the with to a by, now this is no longer an adjective. This is absolutely passive voice. Who is annoying Bart? The women are annoying Bart. And in this situation, we would then say Bart explains that these women annoy him. Boom. Great. Barthes explains that these women annoy him. That is active voice again. What is the verb? Annoy. Who or what is doing it? These women are doing that annoying. Okay? So, again, we've flipped it around. We've made the verb have actually an agent performing the action of the verb. Great. Good example on how to remove passive voice, but remember, there's this trick in here that it may not be passive voice. It could be just an adjective. And I think because the with follows it, it indicates that it is an adjective. Maybe then his beloved is frustrated. Same thing again. Maybe this is just like he's annoyed, he's frustrated. So you could find out what's doing the frustrating and then assign that person or thing to the verb frustrate to explain, like, you know, the dog frustrated the cat, right? Or maybe there's just an adjective, right? I am happy, I am sad, I am frustrated, okay? So you have to use your judgment call in those situations. Here, he is consumed by the truth. Perfect. And sometimes you've actually got your agent hidden in the sentence somewhere. You just have to flip it around to the front. So very easy. The more that he needs to have her in his life in order to be happy, and the more the truth consumes him, the truth that she will not always be able to provide the company that he demands for her consumes him. Let's see what happens here. The more that Werther falls in love with Lottie's companion, the more that he needs to have her in his life in order to be happy, and the more the truth that she will not always be able to provide the company that he demands from her consumes him. Yeah. Now, truth consumes him is actually kind of the full thought. This that she will is a very long kind of detour. Might be better to put that right next to the truth. And the more that the truth consumes him, that she will not be from her. Okay. Did you see that? Again, consumes is the verb. Who or what is doing that consuming? The truth is. The truth consumes him. And the original was. And here's the original, that he is consumed by the truth, right? Okay. I think those are enough examples. I hope that helps. If it doesn't, there's always office hours and the Writing Center to help you out.